it's on the block, we'll talk about it. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Yeah. I wonder who's going to make it through. Who's going to stay in the queue? Yes, it's all about Kaiser semi-finals, Saturday, 31st January 2026, 8:30 p.m. at the Windsor Park Stadium. 20 great Calypsonians going to be battling. Only 9 could make it to the finals. So you got to be there. They're backed up by the Swingers Band. Early bird tickets $50, regular $60, seating $80, VIP $130, pay-per-view $30 US. Come see who's gonna meet the Queen. Guest artists Queen Joy and Booyah Sensation Kwan Dan. It's all about Calypso semi-finals, Saturday 31st January, 8:30 p.m. sharp at the Windsor Park. Sponsored by Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Coca-Cola, Top Peter Water, Henneken Beer, Flo Dominica, Discover Dominica Authority, Jungle Bay, Domlet, Fresh Market, Do It Center, Big Edge, Pepper's Pizza, ICWI, Carry FM, Vibes Radio, QFM, DBX Radio, Adam Songs, The Factory.
And it's all here, so there we go. People from the north, south, east, and west, from Grand Bay to Portsmouth, Salisbury to Lapland, Tullamoon, the United Workers' Party presents the massive Grand National Rally, where the Grand Four playing field, yes, the Grand Four playing field, when Sunday, February 1st, 2026. At what time? We're starting from 12 noon with our next Prime Minister under the theme, putting Dominica first, Dr. Thompson Fontaine. Come be part of great music, real talk, and entertainment. Of course, and great food. Macklin, I find you off that box surgery, Papa. Remember, it's February 1st, Sunday, February 1st, the Grand Four playing field. Putting Dominica first, the United Workers' Party.
I see Golo is shopping for farming supplies, so I asked him, what are you doing inside Bloomberg? Do you have a farm? He told me, that's how I thought. I've been married 37 years. Look at my money farm. He said, no, not woman, like land for farming crops. And then you understand, Bloombox is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Rosal. Bloombox. Let's bloom together.
The patience is mine. Or the pleasure is mine. That's the patient. Of course. Dominica, we're going to revisit Mr. Later from the community of Fishland, out of state, where he feels the pain of his community, Fishland, where he was born and raised. And of course, I did find out, given my investigations, that he had written to the Prime Minister speaking of this same area, warning the authorities be very, very careful when dealing with the mountains in that area, he copied the letter to the Honorable Minister of Public Works. That's sometime last year in October. The PAL rep for the Grand Bay constituency, Mr. Vince Henderson, parliamentary representative for Petit Sufan, the Honorable Julian Defoe, and chairperson of the Peachland Village Council. So you can conclude that he forewarned about the situation that everybody's now talking about. Of course, we seem to have shifted focus from Dave Wash, where Mr. Nasir Fountain is still standing. We'll try to get an update from here. But the same environmental concern. And somebody indicated to me that since Nasir started standing, the rain is falling. Is that a sign there? Well, let's listen to a conversation I had with Mr. Leta, who is now overseas, out of state, wishing he was in Dominica to be with his people there in Peachland. I will start with part of the letter read to Mr. Leta in that conversation. Dominica, good afternoon to you. This is the Talk on the Block. Of Peachland, I write this correspondence to you with full confidence in you requesting that you address what I consider as a disaster waiting to happen to the community. I am very appreciative of the Roseau Grand Bay Road Rehabilitation Project to the extent that I allowed debris to be deposited on my private land only to later experience the unprofessional manner with which it was done. The area was not level. In fact, the topography has changed significantly, and the slope which has been created will result in slides and the washing of mud into the Peachland River. I've accepted the inconvenience and change in landscape in the interest of national development. Someone else would have likely made a big fuss of the situation. Of greater concern to me is the fact that the contractor continues to deposit huge boulders into the Peachland River further south. In some areas, water is not visible, and in my view, lives and properties in Peachland are at risk. So I'm just reading a part of the letter that was written to the Prime Minister by Mr. Leta. I have Mr. Leta, he's out of state, but I found him on the telephone. Mr. Leta, good morning to you. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning to you. Good morning to Dominicans, and especially to my people of the village of Peachland.
I'm really. What's that?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You're doing well, and that letter was written since last year, Mr. Leta, from what I gather.
You know, it's a small world. I am happy. I am happy you got hold of that letter somehow.
All right. Well, I'm happy. I'm happy in October. I'm happy I found it, Mr. Leta. But actually, you were forewarning the Prime Minister and the authorities because I see it being copied to the Honorable Prime Minister on the public with the Minister of Public Works, Parliamentary Representative of Grand Bay, Vince Henderson, Parliamentary Representative of Petit Sufan, Honorable Julian Defoe, Chairperson of Peachland Village Council. So you almost sound like a prophet. You saw that coming.
Matt, I was born and raised in the village of Peachland, and the exact spot where the landslide started.
Mm-hmm.
That is a place we used to use calabash and collect water to take to my grandmother, who lived higher up in a place called Razad. So that place always had water. When I understood without any, without me giving permission, that some soil and stones and so on was being deposited on my land, I looked at it and I realized they had completely destroyed the area. A slope was created, and there was a possibility that this thing would end up in the river. As a matter of fact, you could see the river below. Then Mr. Packet called me, that's Julian Packet, and asked me whether they could continue to the more stuff. I said I cannot give that permission unless I go up to the area and see exactly what they're talking about. When I reached, without my permission again, they had already piled a lot of stuff. There is nothing I could do. But I was aware of what was happening to the river. So lower below, I remember I walked and Matthew could not see the riverbed at all. That had completely disappeared. All they were doing was, all you could see was big stones in the river. So I said, boy, you know something, as a citizen, or as a resident, sorry, I need to do something. So I wrote that letter to the Prime Minister, because I was also aware that during Erica, when all the debris came down, there was a bridge that they built at the community center. And that bridge could not have been more than 15 feet long in length. But they did a separation under the bridge. And I felt that with everything coming down, especially when the river overflows its bank, that would cause problem. And that's exactly what happened. It got blocked, and the villagers were at risk because the water rose above the bridge, found its way on the main road in front of the Peanuts property, all the way to Maranatha Square.
I saw it.
Nothing was done. Yes, nothing was done to correct the situation. When Maria came, the same thing happened. The water built up. As a matter of fact, my own house, which is not far from the river, was only about 10 feet from the river at that time. So Matt, I had concern. So I wrote expressing my concern and asking that something should be done. I met one of the engineers on site. And Matt, I am not an engineer. I'm not a geologist, but I believe I have some level of common sense. So I take, and instead, let me say, I take very strong offense to my fellow resident when he attacked Bellot for making some comments and telling him that he's not a geologist and he's an environmentalist and where he went from what university he graduated. This is a gentleman who have lived in the area and he knows about the area. And I don't think if people are expressing their concerns that they should be attacked and try to be preventing. I won't call them, but I totally disagree. And I feel that my relative and my friends should desist from that nonsense that is doing. Let the people express themselves. Anyway, to get back to the thing, Matt. So I wrote, and up to this point, I have not received an acknowledgement of my letter. And this is exactly what I said. So, yeah, when I was talking about the engineer, I told the engineer, I won't call his name, but he's a Dominican. And I told him, why don't you leave the mountain alone? And that was said to him, Matt. I'm sure she will not object. That comment by me or conversation was said in the presence of Annie Edwards. I don't think she'll have any problem if I call her name. And I said, why don't you leave the mountains alone? Right? Because this is going to eventually come down. Why don't you all build a retaining wall below the road? Build a retaining wall below the road. Or even better, use some Gideon baskets right? Because the Gibeon basket will assist in protecting live things like crabs and so on and so forth. Build some Gibeon baskets. So even if the road narrows in that area a little, you could have signs indicating to drivers that the road is narrowing, how many feet ahead. You could have speed bump, and you could also have guardrails on the side. That would be a better thing to do than interfering with that mountain. And Mark is for you to see. Well, I think you went there.
I went there
You see
yesterday.
the height. The height, they reach right to the top of that mountain.
It's cracking.
Right to the top of that mountain. Right up. And then I am not against development, Mark. But you cannot build a road, widen a road, and in doing so, my friend, you place an entire community at risk. Matt, they can do whatever they want. You will continue having slides in that area and teaching people. And I'm telling you, so my heart is heavy. The tears are coming to my eyes.
I sense that.
We will always be at risk, Matt. We will always be at risk. We do not deserve that, Matt. We do not deserve that. These are the community, my boy, where we have lived all those years, and I'm not exaggerating. My people's lives and myself and that of mine at risk, man. It's at risk. That is level. And I just hope that God, my boy, that God intervene, put a hand and save that village.
All right, Mr. Later, I feel your pain. Thank you very much, though. Thank you for expressing yourself. I know you're out of state, and I can feel your emotion. Thank you, Mr. Later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
But I'm not even there to see what is happening. That's one of my problems.
My good friend and brother Thomas Later this morning, expressing his frustration and concerns, and very emotional in terms of what's happening in his village of Fischler. And I know Brother Later very, very well. We go way, way, way back. And I know he's someone who is deeply concerned about his village, Fischler. As a matter of fact, he lives in Fischler. He has never moved anywhere else. And his village and his villagers are very dear to him. But, man, what concerns me even more, listening to Brother Later, it seems to me, Mark, that I'm not sure what is happening in Dominica, but I think, I keep repeating myself, Dominicans must take charge of their country. I think it is time that Dominicans let this administration understand that they cannot, in a very, what I describe, callous manner, just do as and how they wish. Dominicans, I'm pleading and asking, when will it stop? A couple of years ago, Matt, we had a natural disaster in the village of Piddick-Savan. An entire community had to be relocated, to the extent where you heard on a program recently, a young man from that village indicated that since that displacement of the folks from Piddick-Savan have never really gotten their lives together. Then we heard recently what is going on in Degwash. And you had experts, you had professionals, Dominicans at that, indicating what is likely to happen and the negative impact it is likely to have on our rivers. We saw what happened in Wesley. Now, granted, nobody's saying we don't need development and an international airport, but the indiscriminate use with how folks' lands who acquire, who got paid, who didn't get paid, and all that kind of stuff. All right? Last year, we had a construction taking place at Dominica Grammar School, and an entire roof collapse. To date, Matt, I'm not aware that there has been a report or anything to indicate, well, this is what went wrong, and these are the mitigating measures that are in place to ensure the parents and the students that the rest of the construction is safe for the students. 600 plus students, as I understand it, or more, that's going to be housed at that school. An entire roof collapse. And to date, nothing anywhere to indicate, well, look, we look into it. This is what went wrong. We fixed it, and the rest of the building is okay. Nothing. Now we're hearing of Fischler. And I heard you reference a letter that Mr. Leta wrote back in October to the Honorable Prime Minister and copied to the Minister of Public Works, copied to the parliamentary representative of Grand Bay, the Honorable Vince Henderson, copied to the parliamentary representative, I understand it from what you read, the Philip Savan, the Honorable Julian Defoe, and the chairperson of the Fischler Village Council. And look what happened. And not even an acknowledgement to the letter that Mr. Leta got. Not even. Here you have a resident of Fischler, a senior official in Dominica, the General Secretary of the DPSU, raising concerns in a letter about what is an imminent danger disaster in the village. And not even an acknowledgement to the letter to say, dear Mr. Leta, I received your letter, the matter will be looked into, or when can we meet to discuss it? Not even an acknowledgement. What level of disrespect to the people and the citizens of Dominica? When will Dominicans say enough is enough and don't accept that level of disrespect? And we see throughout the entire country degradation of the environment. I mean, it blows my mind, Matt. It really blows my mind. I mean, it's not the first time that roads are being built and done in Dominica. Previous governments have done it under Frank Barron, under E.O. Libla, under Patrick John, under Mary Dame Eugenia Charles, under Honorable Edison James. We have had roads built. We have had buildings built. We have had so many things. I mean, most of the buildings in Roseau in Dominica around the country were built by Dominicans. The Social Security building, the police headquarters, government headquarters, National Bank, Treasury, Aid Bank, you name it. Dominicans have built buildings before. Dominicans and folks of the region, we've never had no Chinese building buildings for us in Dominica. After the Hurricane David in 79, the Freedom Party undertook a major road development network. You had three companies building, Nelotier, Rush and Tompkins, and the other company, I don't recall the name now. Three doing the road development in Dominica. And we never had that situation. The Bayfront was a problem when we had heavy swells and all of that. The Freedom Party put that Bayfront wall to protect Roseau from the sea. So I'm saying all of this to say, Matt, it is time that Dominicans stand up, and those who are silent and refuse to say anything, it is going to haunt you one day. You have a responsibility and an obligation to speak out. Silence in the face of injustice is wrong. It is wrong, Matt. It is wrong. It was John F. Kennedy who said, those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. Those are the words of John F. Kennedy. So I am appealing to my fellow Dominicans at home. Enough is enough. I'm appealing to the administration. When the citizens speak and the people of the village, who knows the village, who have been there all their lives, when they make certain recommendation, listen to their recommendation. Meet with them. Speak with them. Look what's happening in Desbois. So it really pains my heart. And I could feel and hear the hurt in Brother Leta's voice. So I really hope that folks in Dominica at all levels, the business, where's the DAIC and all of that? Where are the church council or whatever they are and all of that? the trade unions, all civic organizations must speak up. And enough is enough. The government is accountable to the people and not the other way around. So, Matt, I just wanted to express my thoughts and my position on this matter because I just find it is totally unacceptable.
It's now here, so there we go. People from the north, south, east, and west, from Grand Bay to Portsmouth, Salisbury to Lapland, Hulamoon, the United Workers' Party presents the massive Grand National Rally, where the Grand Four playing field, yes, the Grand Four playing field, when Sunday, February 1st, 2026. At what time? We're starting from 12 noon with our next Prime Minister under the theme, Putin Dominica First, Dr. Thompson Fontaine. Come be part of great music, real talk, and entertainment. Of course, and great food. Macklin, I find you off that bus certainly, Papa. Remember, it's February 1st, a Sunday, February 1st, the Grand Four playing field. Putin Dominica First, the United Workers' Party.
All right, Dominica, we're here. We continue to talk about this pending. Some people say no. The government says it's nothing imminent. I just received a letter which seemed to be coming from the Pishlane Village Council. We'll read that to you later. In a nutshell, be very careful when you or stay away from that area, okay? I'll read that letter which seemed to be coming from the Pishlane Village Council in a while. But on the telephone with me is Mr. Athi Mata, of course, environmentalist. Everybody knows award-winning environmentalist conservationist there. He's given his views over the years. Everybody know Athi. Athi Mata has been monitoring the situation and want to add his voice to the conversation. Mr. Mata, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Matthias. How are you doing today, my son?
I'm trying my best, sir. Trying every day. But I know you've been monitoring what's going on for sure.
Absolutely. And I wanted to, first of all, give thanks and praises to all the persons who publicly and many privately, to me and others, have expressed their deep concerns about what is going on in Pishlane. And I have taken the opportunity to remind them, as I remind you and your listeners now, that this is not a unique occurrence. Just reflect for a moment. Even in your own home village, Matt, do you remember the flooding from the ravines that crisscrossed your village of Point Michelle?
I remember.
And the kind of damage they caused and the kind of threat to life and limb that was posed. But think of the ravine and the rivers in Lubia village, just up the road. Flooding, serious damage. Go to Kulibistri, Koliho, all those villages up the coast where there are rivers running close to or through those villages, where people over the last several decades have been begging for some attention to be paid to ensuring their safety with river walls, with maybe some relocation of some of the homes and public facilities like community halls, churches, police stations, to get them out of harm's way. Because those little rivers, ravines sometimes we call them, that seem so mild and peaceful in normal times, can become raging terrorist kind of rivers.
You're so right, Arthur. It takes me back to one family I've lost nine at one time. A family of 9 went.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, the question that we need to reflect on is how many moments die before we realize that we cannot simply sweep these events under the carpet and hope for the best and pray for the best. We set up in the 1960s, there was a department of government that was set up called the Development and Planning Corporation. It was set up as a result of a report that was done by a British consulting firm, Shankland and Cox, which had taken a deep look at Dominica in all its majesty and beauty. And they concluded that the best development strategy for this island, compared with the other islands of the Caribbean, would be to leave the natural systems exactly as they are and build around them, not through them. In other words, suggesting that the development strategy that was suited to the island of Dominica was not the same one that would work in Barbados or Antigua, where you had a lot of flatlands and you had no mountains, so you could build roads that were wide and straight. We cannot do that in Dominica. Some people complain about the winding roads. I would tell you, as somebody who's been involved with tourism and in hosting international environmentalists and so on, people look forward to and enjoy that drive through the center of Dominica. They enjoy the drive up the Rosa Valley because it is not straight. If you have time to slow down and examine the viewscapes, around every turn, there is a different view. And so, unfortunately, over the last how many decades, planners and policymakers seem to have got it into their head that development for us must mean that we must end up looking like Barbados or Puerto Rico or Miami. Straight roads, tall buildings, wide roads. That's for them. In 1992, the world community met in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil and concluded that for development to be sensible, it has to be sustainable, meaning that there is no one approach to development that fits all locations, and that the strategy must be customized and modified to take account of the natural systems that you have. So that if we're talking about, as somebody just mentioned to you, widening a road, my goodness me, if you're going to widen a road, but the cliff side of that road is a steep mountain, fragile, likely to fall, my goodness, the design of your engineering strategy has to take that into account. And you cannot simply, because you have the equipment nowadays that can move a mountain, and that is what it is. You have an equipment of a size and force that can literally move a side of a mountain. But at what cost and with what implication? Back in the day when the road to Loda was being built, it was built by pickaxe and shovel. The gravel that they used to call macadam was stones broken by hand. Big rocks broken down by men wielding hammers, creating macadam. Today we have stone crushers. So we feel we can just take stones in whatever quantity from wherever, bring it to the crusher, and the crusher will handle it. But that is not sensible for our situation because it doesn't reflect our reality. And guess what? Back to Shankland and Cox, they concluded that if Dominica was sensible, they would choose a development strategy that would, in fact, emphasize the difference, emphasize the winding roads, emphasize the hillsides, emphasize the forest, emphasize the rivers and streams and so forth, because nobody else in our region would be able to compete with us as a tourism destination or as an agricultural destination. And Matt, that was in the early 1960s. 60s. Today, nature tourism is what we say we have, but we are spending so much time and money destroying nature. What a hypocrisy. What a disgraceful hypocrisy. Because the rest of the world wishes they had what we have. Barbados has little dry ravines they call gullies, and they organize tours into gullies, dry gullies. We have rainforests, we have coastal regions, wetlands, all of which are natural. And that is why when somebody gets hooked on Dominica, they never let go. So repeat business has been the nature of our stayover visitorship. And so, Matt, I come back to Pishleh. Pishleh is not distinct and different from Des Bois or Coliho or Coolibistri or Point Michel. Pishleh is just another example. And I would say, more than an example, Matt, Pishleh is a warning to us. Because the size of the mountain, the side of the mountain that fell in Pishleh and blocked the river and is now posing a dire threat to the life and limb of the people of Pishleh village. That is just a microcosm of the amount of material that is at Des Bois. So multiply Pishleh by 50 or 60 times. And that is what we would expect to happen in Des Bois if we keep putting heavy equipment inside of the Central and Northern Forest Reserve. Multiply Pishleh by close to 60 or 70 times in terms of volume of mud, volume of rockfall, blockage of road, blockage of river, and endangerment to human life and interruption of traffic and the flow of business to that part of the island from the north to the south. That is what you begin to have. But Dominica is not a huge place, Dominica is 300 square miles. You know what that is, Matt? In acres? Because people understand what an acre of land is. Dominica is only about 200,000 acres of land. That is the total size of our island. And we like to think it's a big island where fellas get into their cars and they want to meet 70 miles an hour to go where? Where are you going? There's no place in Dominica that's further than 20 miles or 30 miles. So where are you rushing to? Dominica is a small island, 200,000 acres. But guess what, Mike? 40,000 or 40% of that is already under protected legislation as national parks, forest reserves, and so on. So 40% of 200,000, that's 80,000 acres of land is already under protection. Plus a lot of land that is not under protection, that is on private land, private estates, but it's very difficult terrain, it's steep mountains and gullies and valleys and so on. So you're looking at maybe about 1/2 the amount of land that is available to us is suitable for intense activity and development, housing, parks, playing fields, etc. So that is why we have to be very careful about where we put things and how we put things where we put them. I think if Dominicans can step back a moment and understand that we are a small space, and in small spaces, if you have a small house, you have to make sure you pack things away very carefully than if you have a big house and you have a whole room that you can just put things in, or you have a backyard you can throw things in. No, it's a small space. And all of us, that is what Alvin and others have been saying, all of us have to accept part of the responsibility for caring for and managing that small space. And institutions like the Planning Corporation cannot be ignored in implementing our development strategy. That is why it is criminal. I believe it is a criminal act a criminal act against the interests and safety of the population when a public agency goes forward with a huge civil works project, whether it be a road or a port or an airport or a building, without seeking the advice and guidance of the Development and Planning Corporation, which would make it a safe investment, not just for the investor, but for the people going to use that place. And that is why environmental and social impact assessment studies are a part of the procedure of planning approval and are essential. So here we are. I ask, were the civil works that we're now doing on the road to Pishley, the Pishley Road, were they subjected to any environmental review and assessment? What did that review say? Because the conclusion of a review would say, okay, you can proceed, but here are the things that you must pay special attention to in your design, in your civil works, in your material disposal, etc., etc. If you have not had that map, and you put a bulldozer in the hands of somebody who has no idea or doesn't care about saving rivers and being safe about what they do, you will have destruction. And you place people's lives at risk, as is the case in Pishley, in Collyho, in Coolibistri, in Port Michel, you name it. So, the message of Pishley, like the message of Debwash and the message of Collyho, the message of Bath Estate, which was destroyed and where we lost the lives of people that we know as a result of failure to attend to the issue of safety and sustainability in the works we were doing in that area. The message is this: stop trying to be a hero. And I say this to the government people, and I say this more particularly to the technical and professional persons, the engineers, the planners, the agriculturalists, the foresters, who are part of the public service, who are civil servants to serve us, the public, to keep us safe and well. Examine your consciences. Are you guys advising properly and firmly according to law and according to the issue of humane care for the safety of the population? Or are you just going along because you don't want to interfere, you don't want to get the minister vexed with you but there are laws and rules in the country to protect you. Mr. Thomas Lister can guide you on these. So you are a professional, give professional advice. Document it so that, in fact, if you have to defend, you can say, here was my advice. And so the message to the policymakers: stop trying to hurry and rush, because hurrying and rush will only lead to disaster. You're hurrying and rushing because you have a elections schedule or you have another kind of schedule. But what about the schedule of the lifetime of the people who have to live here while the project is being attended to? So I'm saying, pay attention to the need to do things right. Do it right the first time, so you don't have to go back and fix it. If you make a mistake, as was suggested by another caller, if you make a mistake and something bad happens, like the collapse of the building on the site of the Dominica Grammar School, figure out what went wrong. Figure it out so that it doesn't happen again. And God forbid, so that it doesn't happen when 150 children are in the building. So let's be clear. There's no magic to development. And I want to urge you, stop trying to make excuses. People say, you don't want development. The world agreed that development is not just about how many miles of road, how tall your buildings are, how much you export, but development is about the quality of life of your people. That is sustainable development. The entire world community signed on to Agenda 21 in Rio in 1992, saying that to us. Dominica signed on to that. So what you're trying to create as if, because you raise a criticism about the international airport or about a road or a port, or you don't want development, or you don't want are you guys listening to yourself? And I'm hearing some so-called intelligent people saying, "Oh, these fellas don't want development; they want to blocking development." You're crazy. You want the project to be done well, environmentally well, economically well, socially well, so that there is all round benefit. Because you can have a project that generates revenue, but destroys a whole community. So what's the balance sheet on that? So, my brother, I just urge, you cannot rush as a mad herd of people into solving this without understanding. Number one, Dominica is a small island and has to be managed very carefully. Number two, Dominica has already taken its decision to move down that path of sustainable and sensible development. So we have national parks, we have protected areas, etc. Dominica even has taken the decision more recently to be the world's first climate resilient island. But are we? How can you head off in that direction while at the same time you're deforesting the island? At the same time you're destroying your rivers? Come on. There's a sensible way to do those things, but you've got to listen. Be humble, be polite, be dignified, be respectful of other people's opinion. If you don't understand what Matt is saying, don't criticize Matt. Find out from Matt, what exactly do you mean, my brother? That is what sensible, intelligent, calm people do. And believe you me, that is what young people expect us to do, is to be sensible about the way we do things, rather than to be like them in their youthful, energetic manner, just go forward. And we are older, we are more experienced, we have knowledge, we have, we know what works and what doesn't work. So there is no excuse for the adults in a society to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Mistakes are for young people. When you're young, you can make mistakes because you have time to learn and correct your mistakes and move on. But we, as adults, are going ahead, and in 2026, we say we're widening a road and then we're placing an entire village in peril. Come on, people, come on. When the rest of the world does understand what is really happening in Dominica, nobody will want to come here. You know why? Because yes, you have nice nature. Yes, you have nice forests. Yes, you used to have rivers. Yes, you used to have lakes, etc. But your people are not safe. And your people are not enjoying the benefits of the natural resources. So I'm not going to come. That's the decision of most of the travel public. So if we want people to come and share with the gifts that the Almighty has gifted us with, granted us, my goodness, let's get real. Let's be dignified about each other and about the natural gifts of God, which if we can't care for what God has created, stop being hypocritical and try to convince me or others that you care about God, or even believe in God. You're preaching, you're shouting, you come to church, you go there, your procession, you did it. All the time you say you believe, I believe in God, the Father Almighty, Creator of heaven and earth. You believe in that God? And yet you're destroying God's creation here on earth. Young people see the contradiction, see the hypocrisy. That is why they do not take instructions from elders, because the elders are behaving like they just got out of the cradle. We can do better than that.
All right, Arthur Martin, we're going to take you out of that note, but there's a mouthful there, a lot of food for thought. Arthur Martin, usual, and a great intelligent conversation here. I want to go back to a conversation I think I can relate to Dr. Dale's contribution this morning. Let's play it again. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's on my mind? It's been a very interesting 5-6 days down here. Just observing morning everything, and I want to talk about the dishonesty that has found itself in politics. I guess it's always been. But in Dominica, subtle dishonesty in politics, is costing us quite a bit. I mean, look at how the destruction of nature is being explained, really minimized and deliberately obscured, And they come as reassuring and talk about, environmental assessments, ongoing, minimal impacts, and jobs will be created. Meanwhile, rivers are changing color, mountains are being scarred deeply, and the forest will thin out, landslides will come down, right? So, what is presented as development is destruction and extraction, right? What is being framed as progress quietly trades our long term ecological survival for short term political gain. This dishonesty thrives through selective truths and mostly through silence. Contracts are being signed without any vetting, no public scrutiny. Environmental risks are being downplayed. And the voices of the villagers, the farmers, even the scientists are being sidelined as emotional or uninformed. Obvious realities that exist right now is this. You have land destabilization. You have water contamination. You will have loss of biodiversity. We've seen that already. You see less crabs. You see more possums, but you see less crab, and the crab is gone, the frog is gone. Right? By the time the damage becomes undeniable, responsibility has been diluted across communities and committees. They form their committees, right? These things are meant to exhaust public attention and those who are crying out for help. And remember this, maybe not for us, that's generation, but the cost of this deception is irreversible. Dominica's natural wealth is not an abstract concept. It's in a child. It's the rivers that provide drinking water, the soil that feeds the families, the forest that protects against landslides and hurricanes. But when political dishonesty erodes all these protections, it does so much damage. It endangers lives and livelihoods. Communities downstream from these destructions, these landslides, will be the one to pay the price. Not the decision makers who have approved these projects for their own gain. And when folks come on radio and dismiss these claims, these concerns as exaggeration, as resistance to development, that's what they do. This has been done before. It's written. They have continued to insult the intelligence of the people, especially the people that have lived intimately with the land for generations. But I think the biggest betrayal in Dominica is one of morality. Dominica has been marketed as a nature isle. Yet this subtle political dishonesty risks turning that identity into a hollow brand rather than a lived reality, because you're destroying the same product you're trying to sell. We have to really think about this. Environmental destruction dressed up as inevitability teaches people that resistance is futile and that nature is expendable. Look fishing from in Newfoundland, what has happened? They outfished themselves out of business. The population moved. Look at history tells you these things. History tells you these things. So we're destroying the one product, which is nature, that we so proudly brag about. 365 rivers, the mountains, the flora, the fauna, we're destroying it. For what? That's the question of today. Peace.
Let's go back to 1998. On the Ghost song, I Don't Care a Damn.
Living his whole life under stress, afraid of doing this and afraid of doing that. He's going slow in progress. Worry about this, worry about that, you know. That person of complaint, they might always complaining. Sometimes really about nothing. Man, I get so fed up. I have to ask you to stop doing a straight dog and show him. Keeping like that. Whatever go wrong, I don't give a damn. Don't tell me. Oh, you can murder. Let away. The confusion. Understand you. What's it? Why you? Security. You tell me. You tell me. They can have 2 million stars in one ministry. We sing it every morning. And always what do we? I don't care that you hear me. You tell me. The rest of the morning just finish full of the treasury and still another fountain. With a hungry and morning day. I don't care that you hear me. I don't care that you don't care me. Don't care. As a permanent secretary, giving all reports to the guy he knows a lot. You know? Talk to me. Well, talk to me. Whatever you won't tell me. But now it is way a long like me. You know? Talk to me. Talk to me. As my favorite cousin, he talk, I listen. That is how I would get to know. Lyrics for my colleagues do. Somehow he became a nuisance. Repeating a whole ton of nonsense. As a concert says, I know he means well. I just cannot take no audience for his can't go to. If they wanna be, you like, put up on nothing, follow it, put in the market, put up that man,
1998, he wrote this one. I don't care a damn.
All the money flowing. I don't care what that means, you hear me? I don't care what that
Very interesting, huh?
means. I got a bunch of jokers pretending to be workers. Political superiors. I don't care what that means, you hear me? I don't care what that means.
The Ghost Boy. Do you care, damn? In 2026?
Since after the last election, that is when it started. You behave like that. Talk to me. Talk to me. He was always a pleasant man. He has that degree in sociology, you know. Talk to me. Talk to me. His favorite was the madam. Everything she would do or say. Madam was always okay. But murder and decent. Doing them was real poison. Everything they touch they kill. That is how we feel. When the passers and the fools and the right affair.
You enjoying this one, huh? Oh boy. Brother Ghost, good afternoon to you.
Yeah. Who's going to make it too? Who's going to stay in the queue? Yes, it's all about Kaiser semi-finals, Saturday, 31st January 2026, 8:30 p.m. at the Windsor Park Stadium. 20 great Calypsonians going to be battling. Only 9 could make it to the finals. So you got to be there. They're backed up by the Swings Band. Early bird tickets $50, regular $60, seating $80, VIP $130, pay-per-view $30 US. Come see who's gonna meet the Queen. Guest artists Queen Joy and Booyah Sensation Juan Dan. It's all about Kaiser semi-finals, Saturday 31st January, 8:30 p.m. sharp at the Windsor Park. Sponsored by Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Coca-Cola, Top Peter Water, Henneken Beer, Flo Dominica, Discover Dominica Authority, Jungle Bay, Domlek, Fresh Market, Do It Center, Big Edge, Becky's Pizza, ICWI, Carry FM, Vibes Radio, QFM, DBX Radio, Adam Songs, The Factory, BB Rom.
Let's continue with some voice notes. I know the telephones are going, but give us a few minutes, okay? Let's go.
Matt Belty, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your listeners. Lennon here. Matt, I am listening to I've been listening to your program as it relates to the debauch, the situation we have in the Southwest, where the landslide occurred. And listening to some of your comments and the discussion with folks happening, First of all, if folks have listened to me, I am a geologist by profession, 20-some years with environmental practical experience, and a registered geologist in the state of Texas, and worked 10 years in Florida doing environmental assessment. Matt Pelty, in any scientist or scientific research, one of the most important component of doing scientific research in any location is local knowledge, tribal knowledge, information from the people who live within an environment. And I am saying that because I'm hearing the discussion about who is geologist and who is not geologist and who is environmentalist. Anybody who goes out to do field research for a long time, you can't observe processes in the environment in a classroom. You can't observe processes in the environment in theory. You have to be there. And the people who are living in the environment are the living record of changes, the energy processes, and how it impacts their surroundings. So if you have a little sense of observation, I'm not even saying a keen sense of observation, a little sense of observation, and you are living in an area for a long time, you would have observed the flooding stages of the river. You would have observed the change in the landforms. You would have observed these things, which is very, very valuable for anybody who's doing studies on the area. So the conversation about who is geologist and who is not, and the importance of local knowledge should be laid to rest. And all the ignorance going around, people need to understand, as human beings, we are supposed to observe our environment, and expertise doesn't come from a classroom. Expertise comes from being out in the field and carrying this observation. So if you live in a community and you see and observe the changes in that community and you have any common sense, you are an expert in what is happening in your community. So let's let that rest for all those folks talking about who is not geologists and who is not. There are other intricate details that you go to school and learn, but you still have to apply in the field. Well, anyway, Matt Pelty, what I see happening is there are people who are in position. I'm not even going into all the technical part and landslide and why it happened. If you've lived in Dominica for 10 years, you will understand, and drive around Dominica, you'll understand that our topography is one that is very precarious when it comes to landslides. As a matter of fact, in all the hurricanes and disasters that have happened, landslides have killed more people in Dominica than anything else, more than the hurricane itself, landslides and flash floodings. So you have these two components in Pichler area, and if you're doing any construction, that is the first thing that any engineer or any person involved in the environment should consider. What are the hazards in that area? And that is where an environmental impact assessment comes in before doing this kind of construction, because you would have had to look at those things, see how it's going to affect the community, and put mitigating measures in place. And if you're doing a road construction, one of the reasons why you have public consultation is to get information from the people like Thomas Later, get their concerns, and put assurances in place that you're going to secure their health, their life, their property. But this boils down to the entire conversation we've been for the past few weeks about the importance of environmental impact assessment. And even in small construction like that, you need to have these things in place. And the reason why public consultation is important in having an environmental impact assessment, no matter how small the development and the project is, to make sure that the input of the people, the concerns of the people are adequately addressed. So, Matt Pelty, we've been living in a country where Dominicans are not being part of the generation of growth. It is funded and fueled by foreign entities, and apparently Dominicans have no say, no input into what is happening. And as long as the king or the emperor speaks, whatever he says goes. And as I have seen in the past, the disrespect for Thomas Later as he he fought for civil servants. I'm not surprised that the Prime Minister probably didn't read his concerns, and absolutely not surprised he didn't respond. It's just a continuation of 25 years of BS we have had in government, and it's about time Dominicans take back their rightful place in their own country. Thanks, Matt.
We'll take a few phone calls and we'll get back, of course, to our conversation there. It's 2:22. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Matt.
How are you doing, sir? How are you?
Let me put a little point in that issue we have there today now.
Go ahead.
What is the situation at Pishley? What is the situation concerning the dam at Pishley?
You don't know the situation?
I mean, considering you know, Sunday morning, we almost get up with a disaster on our hand.
True.
Exactly. Why I say that is because the guy who gave us the first statement, eventually he said, when that rock fall down or the mountain fall down, the earth begin to tremble, you know. Unfortunately, where it fall in the dam, it did not burst. You understand that?
I'm following you. Go ahead.
It did not burst. If it had burst, I tell you, we would have a major disaster on our hands. So that is why I'm asking, what is the situation up there at the moment? Because you know people can't sleep during them kind of time. When them things happen, people cannot sleep. So at the end of the day, people have to just understand, well, it was a natural disaster that was going to occur, and it didn't happen. You understand that? Thank you very much.
All right. I think you may have misunderstood, because what the experts are saying, this mountain or the landslide actually slipped to the river and caused some blockage at the bottom there. That's basically what it is. So that's what everybody's concerned about. Is there's a water buildup on that area. And right now, the authorities are trying to mitigate the situation. Because if there's some more rain, the mud will be rushed down and will block another area where there's a bridge, and that water will escape into the village, as experienced during Erica and Maria. Just basic common sense. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Mr. Pelter, blessings to you.
Blessing to you, yes.
Matt, I want to empathize with Thomas Slater. Matt, you remember Thomas Slater? Tell Thomas Slater I run things. Can you remember that, Matt?
We all remember.
And you know, Thomas Slater is hated by many, by the public, by government, by everybody, because they think Thomas Slater did not do enough. But Matt, I was not invited by show up for some public or the service protest or whatever. And when I go there, maybe I see about 15 people, I go back St. John to my business. I think I was on crutches as well. So Thomas Slater, I want to empathize with you. I wish you well, my brethren. Do what you have to do. The tears is more than for. Where that place is again, Matt?
Pishley?
Pishley. I think it is for Dominica. On reflection, your tears, your emotions, it go deeper. I sense it. My Dr. Dale said something. You know, exhausting public attention. If I bring a brother in front of, well, it's on a voice note which I will not share with you. And I was telling him in Debush what they're looking to do is to exhaust the tension, the attention and the standing up of the people So what they have to do, which I suggest to them, to make there more attractive, to keep people there when they're passing, to keep people there when they're visiting or standing. And that's the psychology. Remember I said about throwing about 15, maybe let's say a bag of balls from maybe 300 feet in the air or more. And then you tell somebody if you catch one softballs, Matt, you will get a prize. Matt, you know how much balls that have to hit on your face, on your shoulder, in your eyes, in your eyeballs, even in your balls, and you never catch not one ball, Matt?
That's true.
So what they're doing is creating a myriad, several, plenty issues, man. Because we accusing Matt, but Matt yesterday wasn't that. Why you don't continue to take something else? Matt say he's a gynecologist. Matt, how much you don't believe up a day?
A few.
Oh. So Matt trying his best, and when I don't realize, me myself, I put too much pressure on Matt Peltier. Let me leave Matt Peltier. A lot of people are falling down book these days. So I trying to go easy on Matt, even sometimes it's unfair to me, but I don't bother with him. You know, Matt, I am just saying, my brother, and that's where we at, you know. Even intellectuals that have poor people, crying down poor people because you did not go to school. Matt, did they study the geology of that particular area, the topography or whatever? Bring a soil scientist there and assess what type of soil we are dealing with. And Matt, no. It's vai, go to hell, true pull. Tell Thomas, let I run things, no law, no constitution. And I tell you, Matt, the strategy. You remember Jerry Brisbane when he used to tell us about what amount of concrete and whatever and how much cement they use. Can you remember that, Matt?
Of course, I remember.
They mashed up Breezy Matt, Charles Savre, Scary, all of them. They mashed up Breezy Matt. Do not talk there and all of that. Nobody can talk. So most of the times now we keep making people a double victim. So now Thomas Later is a double victim. Everybody's a double victim. Not these guys, as I tell you. And a fella call about a PS and a money. St. Joe, fellas were crying. You had, Matt, I'm right there. Sorry, I'm not deviating. I'm coming right back. When they were moving from the pit toilet to the flushing toilet, Matt, you had masons, tradesmen telling you, a particular pal rep was telling them that, let's say he put in it 2005, but the 5 is for him. And how much fellas had problem with him when he take offense when a fella did not give him his 5 or his 2,000 and he take 1,000 or whatever it is. That's what this criminal enterprise is doing, Matt. You go in, and I said it this morning, I'm going to conclude there, Matt. You doing a project, Matt. You know your waste. You have to take it maybe half a mile or a mile away. Matt, you know that is money.
True.
You know that it's time. So guess what? You're going to mash up the environment by throwing things in the river, throw dirt, throw boulders, throw tree trunk, everything there, and then creating a pending or impending disaster, however, all the big words they're using. And that is what they're doing. $3 million for a work that costs $1 million, maybe 500,000 or something. They always shooting higher. So they say, shoot for the sun or the moon, and if you miss, you will drop on the clouds or some kind of nonsense like that. Matt, remember I say those words. You are dealing with hardcore criminals and all these liquor ministers that are subordinated to the criminals within that criminal enterprise, Matt. They're doing the same thing. Whether it's to go by Joe Lee, whether it's to go by Hall Lee and Ben Lee and Shell Lee and steal, and they're stealing everything that they can, Matt. They don't give a damn about Dominica. Thanks to RP, thanks to Thomas Later, thanks to Nazio and IP and everybody and you that are beating the drums to keep us focused, and we will not be exhausted. And Dr. Dildongo Ben said it. to exhaust the attention of the people. So we get fed up, we get tired, we retire and fight. Far more. Call the handbag, Jean Gorby. Thank you.
That's not what I said. Oh boy. Calypso, tell us a message, huh? The boucle as we get entertained in the afternoon.
Franchise from Toyota to make cheap cars just for Dominica. They have to be strong, but they must be cheap. Anybody can buy one, but you can't keep it.
Some Calypsonians are for sale. That's what you're saying.
My biggest problem. So I'm asking people on the streets to suggest names for them. Well, here the people.
Dominican's not easy, no boy.
Street. Toyota Julie. Toyota Tony, blowing a set of black smoke without a fan. Toyota See Me, Toyota Filbert. The people say, name one.
Just some good news there that, of course, the Taurus that was missing yesterday has been found and alive, okay? So good news there. This Taurus that was missing there was found by via helicopter alive. So that's good news. Just to encourage again, Taurus visiting the islands, when you do, please contact a guide that will help you get around. So please don't venture into the forest by yourself.
Jobs in the country, well, I coming out to boost the economy. The town will be hazy with all the black smoke, but even who lazy can stay home and work. Government will purchase plenty, I am sure you know why. Because these are the quality that carry life to buy. Just hear his models. Toyota Ian, Toyota Nantan, Toyota Frankie, money make that drive back and turn around. Toyota Kamala, Toyota Justina, one have a dent. They say they meet after the president. But I'm telling them, like good papa way, you papa push it, you papa push it, papa push it, me no. Boy, 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 ay ay ay.
We'll come back for more of your phone calls after this.
Oh, here, so let me go. People from the north, south, east, and west, from Granby to Salisbury to Lapland, Tullamoon, the United Workers' Party presents the massive Grand National Rally, where the Grand 4 playing field, yes, the Grand 4 playing field, when Sunday, February 1st, 2026. At what time? We're starting from 12 noon with our next Prime Minister under the theme, putting Dominica first, Dr. Thompson Fontaine. Come be part of great music, real talk, and entertainment. Of course, and great food. Maclean, I find you off that bus serving me, Papa. Remember, it's February 1st, a Sunday, February 1st, the Grand 4 playing field. Putting Dominica first, the United Workers' Party.
I just made call in Roseau again. Same place outside Flossie. I tried to talk in, but you had time see me. Well, story start again. Million, lot of my power with us, huh? Talk of fella. I said the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossie's, and you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I'm busy. It's to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket, boy. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Good when you're still telling me. I know already. To park I expect him, why? But I can my pepper palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica to come to Flossie's, right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Flossie's can't do it to you.
If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums. Belfast Estate Limited, over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and formidable customer service. We present the manufacturers of BB Rum, Soca Rum, Red Cap Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With island-wide distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy drink, and of course, Sunblast juices, Toffee snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica.
At different phases in life, we move at a different pace. All we need is to be supported. That's when the baby's coming, business needs revamping, the new job started, and you need an outfit. Let momentum hook you up. Momentum will hook you up. The wedding's planning, red due dates coming. Momentum is your support financing. Let momentum hook you up. Momentum will hook you up.
Take advantage of NCCU's Momentum Loan and get the support you need for whatever stage you are in life with a tiered interest rate and exclusive emergency fund component. Let NCCU's Momentum hook you up. Call 255-2126. Email membercare@nccudominica.com or visit any NCCU location for more details. Your pace, always.
All right, Dominica, we are about 22 minutes before the hour of 3 o'clock. This is the Talk on the Block. Talk to me.
Matt, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon to you, yes.
Okay, Matt, there is a calypso tune you had written for Tyrina Simon. I think also about Dominic and the environment. I can remember the title of the song. Even though it's a little verse, man.
Endangered Species, I think is the name of the song.
Thank you.
Endangered
I can remember the name.
Yeah, I think Endangered Species. I think so. All right, thank you. We'll try to find it. Let's take a few more voice notes. Of course, there's bubbling with voice notes here. Let's take a few more voice notes before we wrap it up at the hour 3 o'clock. Hello?
Matt, the Roosevelt Skerritt administration has destroyed the people of Dominica. It's destroyed the soul of Dominica. And the final thing, I guess, right now is to destroy the physical country itself. We see ecological disaster after ecological disaster of the country. Degradation. We saw it in Portsmouth. When they built the Kempinski Hotel, they went in the swamp. Now they're dredging the swamp for a so-called marina. I continue to ask, how much economic activity has this hotel brought to the town? And how much economic activity will this marina bring to the town? I've heard labor rights oftentimes accuse people like you and the many others, including myself, who call on good governance, who call on saving the country, as enemies of progress. They label us as people who don't want to see development. Again, they went ahead, they built a hotel, and I asked over and over, how much has that hotel benefited the town of Portsmouth? Anybody who lives in Portsmouth, anybody who goes to Portsmouth can see how the economy of Portsmouth de- has drastically declined since the removal of Ross University. And we were promised hotels. We have the Anichi as a big load of concrete on the Coconut Beach. And we are not saying what benefit these hotels have really truly brought to the town to trickle down to the local man. An ecological disaster. We see it in the brush right now. Let them take Pishley as a warning. If Mr. Later wrote this letter since back in October, it was ignored. It was ignored and ignored again until the disaster happened. Thank God that there was no loss of life. How many more disasters are waiting to happen? How many people are waiting to lose their lives? What will it take? What will it take, Matt? Dominicans are sitting there, heads in the sand, not all. I believe there are many Dominicans currently, many people who supported that government, who are truly and deeply asking themselves serious questions, Matt. And Dominicans need to ask themselves these questions. People who have been calling on good governance can fight, but fighting with no kind of activity, movement from the very people who continue to put this government back in place is almost like a useless fight, Matt. So when are these people going to realize that it is time to stand up and say enough is enough? You have Dr. Aipe, you have Nasio Fontaine, and they are the young people who brought the Boash ecological disaster that is currently going on to light. Matt, based on what Dale Dangleben said, he said that he was standing with them, and one of the things he wrote is that they have new equipment on the port ready to bring to the Boash, Matt. I mean, yes, they can tell us what they want, but common sense dictates that based on what you see, you can form conclusions to, Matt. When I was in October and I drove to that place and I saw the size of what I asked, why are they putting this kind of ridiculous wall along the roadside? And I don't care what anybody says. Based on what we see, this is more than just looking for stones. This is more than just looking for stones. And if, based on what Mr. Brisbane, who was on your show, said, how many acres is designated to be dug up for stones? About 260 acres. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And so far, how many acres was already dug? About 16 to 20 acres. Am I right? Am I wrong? So if that is what has been dug and it looks like such a mess, imagine the 260 acres that they've given permission to dig for stones, Matt. Nobody can fool me. This is not digging for stones. This is digging for more. Not the kind of project that this guy is, the kind of wall that they've put in place. So, Matt, again, it really boils down to Dominicans, those who label people like us as enemies of progress. I don't know what progress I've seen in Dominica. Progress is not going down for Carnival and Creole Festival, coming back up and having a good time. And when you turn your back, as soon as it's finished, you cannot wait to leave the island and run for your life. That is not progress. But I think many people, many of us are looking to come back home to invest in the country. But given what we see, those who speak up are already going through. What kind of incentive is that to so many of us who want to come back home, Matt? Many people out there who really want to come back home. When they see the way that others who come back home and just speak about things that genuinely concern them are treated, they will not, Matt. Matt, I think at the end of the day, it is really left to the Dominican people The very same people who put this administration in place to stand up and say enough is enough. Stamp them out. Everything that is happening in Dominica is related in one way or the other. And until such time that they come look at their consciences and see that the administration is simply out to destroy them, then we're not going to go anywhere, Matt, unfortunately. Have a good day, Matt.
Have a
Bye.
good one.
Thanks.
Our second Global View on Q show for 2026, and we continue to engage with our local, regional, and Global Q family listeners and friends of Dominica at home and abroad. Well, with me Tuesday night, Justice Dr. Irving Andre, social scientist Simeon Joseph, former Dominica UN Ambassador Christine Gregoire, and ENT specialist Dr. Irving I.P. Pascal. We will discuss political leadership over the past 30 years and the impact on the lives of the people of Dominica and the Caribbean. There are some issues and questions that we have to deal with. For example, a historical perspective of political leadership in Dominica and the Caribbean and the consequences and ultimate outcomes on the people of Dominica and the Caribbean. The qualities of politicians in political leadership and its impact on governance, the rising tide of corrupt leaders in the Caribbean and the enrichment of politicians as a result of being involved in political leadership. We will examine the question, is debauch another betrayal of the public's trust by public servants, as it strikes at the heart of the social contract that authorities would act for the common good? Is the debauch debacle a result of poor political leadership? Is there a plan to mine for copper in the debauch area? Have we become Buju Banton's island for sale? Is Dominica for sale, or is it in fact being given away for free? Are the people of Dominica and the Caribbean better off over the past 30 years with the new brand of political leadership that exists in Dominica and the Caribbean? And why are political leaders in the Caribbean today so consumed with qualifications over leadership skills and abilities? Is nepotism being displayed by political leaders, and what is the impact of this nepotism on free and fair elections in Dominica and the Caribbean? Have we now sold our law enforcement to the highest bidder? Have we sacrificed it to serve our sins of selfishness and greed? Have we conspired to make a suspected murderer escape the hands of justice? Have we sold our criminal justice system to remain in the good books of the U.S.? And what is the future of the Chinese and the Cubans in Dominica and the Caribbean? So we look forward to the contributions of Justice Dr. Irving Andre, social scientist Simeon Joseph, former Dominica UN Ambassador Christine Gregoire, ENT specialist Dr. Irving I.P. Pascal, and callers and viewers on the radio, Facebook, and YouTube on political leadership in Dominica and the Caribbean over the past 30 years and its impact on the lives of the people. So join us Tuesday night for the Global View on Q.
There is nothing no more to solve tomorrow. So many mothers crying, so many funerals. Will be a leader.
Yeah, I wonder who's going to make it through. Who's going to stay in the queue? Yes, it's all about Kaiser semi-finals, Saturday, 31st January 2026, 8:30 p.m. at the Windsor Park Stadium. 20 great Calypsonians going to be battling. Only 9 could make it to the finals. So you got to be there. They're backed up by the Swings and Bank. Early bird tickets $50, regular $60, seating $80, VIP $130, pay-per-view $30 US. Come see who's gonna meet the Queen. Guest artists Queen Joy and Booyah Sensation. One done. It's all about Calcio semi-finals. Saturday, 31st January, 8:30 p.m. sharp at the Windsor Park. Sponsored by Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Coca-Cola, Top Peter Water, Henneken Beer, Flo Dominica, Discover Dominica Authority, Jungle Bay, Domlek, Fresh Market, Do It Center, Big Edge, Becky's Pizza, ICWI, Kyrie FM, Vibes Radio, QFM, DBX Radio, Adam Songs, The Factory,
When it done comes and it touch you. A fresh market, we are open 7 days a week with the top of the line products. Well stocked supermarket and pharmacy, health and beauty care, fresh produce and meats prepared daily, hot and cold kitchen, ready to go meals, sandwiches, salads, and desserts at your fingertips. Easy access, located on the bayfront, environment friendly, and our staff are approachable and ready to assist. Have you figured out who we are? You got it. Fresh your one stop. Comes and your pocket doesn't touch you. Fresh market,
Just me goal winning Roseau again. Same place outside Flossie's. I tried to dock in, but you had time see me. Where? Story start again. Million, lot of my power with us, huh? Saka fella, I said the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossie's. And you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I busy. It's to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket, boy. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Well, when you're still telling me, I know already. To pack a respect him, why? But it can even pepper palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica to come to Flossie's, right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Flossie's can't do it to you.
Ooh, oh, oh, KFC. Ooh, oh, KFC. Looking for some place to go. Meals for soul. KFC. Grab your family and your friends. Join in the experience. KFC. It's the place to be. Made for you and me. KFC. KFC. It's finger licking good.
Bryce and Company Limited. We manufacture high-quality roofing sheets, 24 gauge in different colors, also to customer specifications. That's right, whatever length you want. Aluminum seamless guttering. We also sell BRC mesh, steel rods in all sizes, breach caps, fencing wire and fencing poles. Free estimates for guttering, galvanized sheets, and fencing wire. Quality products at the lowest prices island-wide. Bryce and Company Limited, located at Caneville Industrial Site, Shed 1A, just before the Old Mill Cultural Center. Call us today at 617-2468 or 615-0178. Bryce and Company Limited, built for living, built for life.
All right, Dominic, it's already 6 minutes to the hour, 3 o'clock. Somebody sent me a message there, and I think I should read out there. And the public should be, if someone is using this number in trying to back or hack, that's the word, hack people's NBD accounts, please call that number on the radio to alert other people. This won't take me, but just protect the vulnerable. So don't call out. The person is saying don't call out. If you get that number on your phone, don't call out. It's 245-0272. This is a scammer. So if you get that number, somebody trying to contact you, don't connect or don't call out to this number. There's a scammer on the loose. The number is 245-0272. Mr. Mervyn Ballot in the Pishla area says he has an update, but I will get back to him after I speak to Mr. Bosso, Johnson Boston. Of course, we've just heard that the Calypso tent is back. The Mass Camp Calypso Tent Open House is back this Thursday from 8 p.m. And yes, Mr. Boston, of course, one of the organizers, is on the line with us to give us more updates about this Calypso Mass Camp taking place this Thursday. Also, good to hear from you. How you doing? How you doing?
Not bad, Martin. How are you?
All right, all right. I see you're a little excited about your camp taking place this Thursday.
Yes, good afternoon to you and your listeners at home and abroad.
Good afternoon.
Yes, you know, every year, every Calypso season, the Mass Camp is engaged so that we can provide an opportunity to our Calypsonians and Calypsonians generally to sing their songs and to, perfect their song, to have it better known to the public and to get more accustomed to it. So when they get to the big stage, those who are going there would be more comfortable. And, this year is a short season, a very short season. And, from one to the other. So people are asking, what is Mass Camp doing? And we have listened. We always listen to our fans and to the public. And we are coming on this Thursday from 8 p.m. We have, collaborated with the folks at the Lot at Pottersville, close to the St. Alphonsus Catholic Church. There is a very nice area, nice spot. People are very, nice people, very courteous people there, and hardworking people. And they are partnering with us this year to have the Mass Camp there. It's a lot of parking in the area, in Goodwill, a lot of parking. It's a very nice area. So Thursday is coming Thursday. We are coming on. And the reason for Thursday is because Saturday is the Calypso semi-finals. And therefore, when there is a major Calypso show, we always do attend a day before or 2 days before the major event. So this Saturday is the Calypso semi-finals, and therefore we're holding our camp, the Mass Camp, on Thursday, the 29th of January, 2026. And as I said, at the Lot in Pottersville, close to the Catholic Church there. And we're inviting the public to come out. A number of our Calypsonians will be there to perform. And we've always had Q95 FM radio partnering with us, and we look forward this year for them to do that, as well as the other radio stations and Comset TV and MO News and all those who support the Mass Camp. We ask you for your support this year to keep the art form alive and keep Calypso moving and keep the public entertained. Matt.
All right. Well, thank you, boss. So good news. I thought you guys did not have a camp, but you're breaking the news this afternoon that there is a camp this Thursday. Good news. Good news.
Yes. Thanks a lot so much.
Thank you.
He who is low, fear no fall.
Checo will be there, so among other Calypsonians.
Oh, you heard that talk? Oh, mama. Why? Because Checo in a legal acting position. People say on radio.
And that's on the Lot, in Pottersville. At the Lot.
Wish you would shut up. If it for another year, I am the right of even at your work.
We have an update coming up as it relates to Peachland.
You can take away price and your own country. Take a vacation, go and bless your family. If you hit them with hard lyrics, baby, all your acting would face you better leave. For next year, this time. All over town. Why? You fit to control and all to take down. Why? How to make people conform, just keep them active. Is that the motherfucker and I got to directing? If you ever have me
Let me just put on this afternoon there, Mr. Bellot, who's been monitoring the situation. The villager there, of course, very closely monitoring the situation there in the village or close to the village of Pishler. Mr. Bellot, what is the latest information that you have?
Right now, Matt, they're making this road, planning to try to make the water come out on the Catholic away from this village, the other side, from where you all were on the other side of the bridge.
I'm here. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, on the other side of the bridge, to go up by the mountain on the opposite side. That's where they are. Go there and try to make the water flow, and also to put some big pumps. They say that they are going to put some big pumps to try to suck up the dam, the water, so that they could try to work on that. And also they're going to clear out the road on our side, where so all the stuff will come down. They're trying to clear that side so they can start taking out materials. But one of the things that I heard, that the mud is so soft, the machine cannot go on there. So they're trying to put stuff on it so that they can try to make it dry up. They're trying to stabilize the soil. Right now, that's what they're doing, trying to stabilize the soil so they could see if they do some work on there. They're trying to bring some machine to try to start clearing the end of the slide.
Okay. Well, do you think it's a good thing though? I mean, we're looking for solutions going forward. Do you think that is a good thing that they're trying to do at this time?
No, for my information, that's not really a good thing because the soil is soft, and even up there, the water is seeping through that soil. That's mud right now because the caterpillar can go into it.
I'm talking to a geologist who says to ease the water pressure, 2 huge pumps and a couple of generators can be used to ease the water pressure, allowing it to flow over the blockage. So that is one solution being suggested by a geologist, that they should ease to ease the water pressure. They should use pumps to kind of pull up the water there.
Yes, that's what they're trying. They're going to try to do.
Okay.
But to me, that's a little fishy because you could come into a place where a river keeps coming straight into it. How it's going to empty out the dam?
Because if the water is settled, your point is if the river continues to flow, there's no way we can empty out the dam. It has to have an outlet to get out.
Right. As long as the river is flowing, into the dam. Not that the dam is just there without a river flowing into it.
Okay.
The river is flowing into the dam. You put pumps there, it will never dry because it keeps pumping water into the dam and it's trying to pump water out of the dam. So that's what they're trying to do right now. And also they're trying to, I hope, the information, I just got that little piece of information.
Okay.
That they're trying to one of the options is to cut on the side of the mountain, the barrier for fishermen.
Oh, okay.
Because I know if they go and play in that is a bad thing that's going on right now.
But I see you. I think I got a note from the Peachland Village Council saying that they met with officials, ODM, and project manager, engineers, and representatives of the police to receive an update on the current landslide situation. What was that note saying? I'll continue to say.
Well, they were talking about the measures that they are going to take, and that is part of it as well.
Okay.
What they are going to do and what they are going to try to do. They say it's not a situation where they are going to do it and do it now. It's a process.
Okay.
They're looking to see what they do. That's what they're saying. They're looking to see what they do to try to take that water out.
But
to
they,
get that water.
but they do realize in that note that there is a significant amount of material on the riverbed, and the process is expected to take several weeks to clear. They did realize.
Of course. For my information, what I saw on this video I sent you, at the back of the dam, man, there is a lot of stuff. We are not seeing that, but the stuff at the back of that landslide is more than what's at the front of it. And there is this area a little further back in the corner. They were throwing so much stuff there, Matt, and that also is below there as well. It's below there. So the guy told me when they went there, they had all this stuff is still below, and it's the water is soaking into it as well.
But again, what I saw yesterday, it appears there's a lot of debris down there in the river, so they have to be very, very careful, removing that debris.
Yeah, because the debris at the front, and it has a lot of water, and if they pull it, per chance, everything can just come down.
Again,
you tamper with the bottom, and the head will come down as well.
Again, I'm just asking you to be very, very careful as you go in that area. I know they have alerted that the police will be there, so it's a construction taking place, and they're warning you if you get there, you might have to deal with the police if you get there. So be very careful.
Yes, I know that. Yeah, man, I will.
Just be very careful, okay? And we'll keep monitoring the situation, and if there's any updates, you can feel free to talk to us, okay?
Okay.
All right,
problem.
Mr. Bella, thank you. Keep us updated. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. You're welcome.
All right, this is it for us there. The price of progress, huh?
What do I see footprints that in man from the understand.
Let's take it from the top, from the very top. Dominica, this is how I go. If God is willing, I'll be back on the radio tomorrow. Thank you.
When I look around, what do I see? I see footprints that in man from the understand. By walking through time, I see such power ambition, pigments of our imagination. And I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see. Universally, this land is not bountiful as it was. Simply because, in this quest for success, nothing stands in my way. Oh, if I the right shrine, soon the bird won't fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, yes, I just wonder why. I see charity deployed, well right, totally ignored. Wisdom and ingenuity, what is enough for? Simply to afford. Inventions as thermonuclear warfare and environmental warfare. And I wonder now, where do we go from here?
Famines everywhere. Days upon the horizon, and declare that judgment will come. And the savage hands of unscrupulous men defile everything passed by. Time is running out. I eat and drink species at the brink of the next thing, yeah. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high. I see consciousness abate as to give recklessly. Money make egos inflate. Their body create a turbulent state. I see a struggle between these texts in connection or complexes. Now the question is, fighting context, what shall be next? I've already seen this would have come divided between race, color, creed, and class. And some of the things the scripture predict how it truthfully come to pass. So that wouldn't be here. Children making children to be a part of this growing mass. And I ask, if this is progress, Lord, how long would it last? How long would it last? How long would it last? I see craziness increase, progress free, and corrupt police. No peace, the struggle don't cease as man turn to drug, searching for relief. I see a frightened humanity, a sad and confused society. And it saddens me, how shall it be in time to come? Can it well withstand this constant misuse and abuse by the hands of man? As they try to shape this world in a way to fit in with all their plans. Time is running out. As we eat and drink species at the brink of the next thing, yes. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high. Very high. You want to marry? You're walking, you're joking, you're stealing, you're dealing, you're looking for harm, plenty harm, boy. You're looking for harm, you're going to get harm, boy. Why you want to marry? You don't have no money, you ain't working no way. You don't have a baby. You think it's so. You think it doesn't work. You think it's so. You wish you luck. Without money to buy honey, you're heading for Missouri. She wants here to and Calado. You ain't have nothing. Somebody will harm you. You better believe it.
Somebody will harm you. I hope you will take it, Father. Young fella, I think you should consider, employment before enjoyment. You don't trade, you have to trade. You're a smart man, a magician. You're looking for her. You're gonna get on, boy. You're looking for her. Plenty on, boy. Why you want to marry? You don't have no money. You ain't working no way. You don't have a payday. You think it's good? You think that's work? You think it's good? Tell her. You must assume she want perfume and good things to consume. You say she nice, but take advice. She must want some hot right. Somebody will harm you. Yeah. You better believe it. Somebody will harm you. I hope you will take it, Father. I must marry her detail, yeah. She's so pretty. She looks so sexy. You're walking, you're joking, you're crazy, you're lazy, you're looking for her. Let me plenty on, boy. You're looking for her. You're going to get on, boy. Why you want to marry? You don't have your money. You ain't working no way. You don't have a payday. You think it's so. You think it's so. I wish you luck. Friday evening, people passing with box of fried chicken. She watching you in your old shoe. She feeling dirty too. Somebody will harm you. Yeah. You better believe it. Somebody will harm you. I hope you will take it back.
Yeah, I sing and say I take it the wife so bad. People next like hell for the same wife and not their beauty. So the next week then on the paper, them boys are writing. Yes, they're trying to tell the world this what that the black man saying. So before them report, that's what make a rain more jeopardy. I don't mean like me to sing nothing again about body. But when the fans of them around the world, listen to what I have to say. Anyway that I go, anyway that I pass, the keyboard it out. So wait, no, this party, yeah. Black man, no fans having fun. Black man, German, no another one. This party can't done, this party can't done. Come with it, your fans want the party. Jam a party song. We just want to roll back all night long. Come with it, your fans want to shake up. Build my party song. If you make me boogie, boogie all year round. The fans and them that don't and say that it don't can fake it. They say we love your jam, so just keep on jamming. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, black man, yes, we love your music. Don't let no reporter man come in here now and stop it. Yes, you sing and try to bring the whole Caribbean together. Yes, you try and try to bring a better life for the elder. Yes, you sing and try to make so much other people's dreams come true. It's time that you realize that party people is people too. So no, this party can't do. Black man, having fun. Black man, another one. This party can't do, this party can't do. Come with it, your fans want to shake up. Build more party song. If you make me party hardy all night long. Come with it, your fans want to shake up. Jump a party song. If you make me boogie woogie all year. I tell me fans, a pretty reporter. Anytime they want them reporter, put your car in danger. Don't before them fellas put their pen and paper against me. Yes, I'm making sure I won't be singing politics and history. But my fans and them will buy my record, it will all over. Then the starring next time we forget the foolish reporter. If they don't know the difference in social commentary and party, then it's time that you start writing for party people exclusively. No, this party can't. Black man, your fans having fun. Black man, jam, another one. This party can't, this party can't. Fuck my head, your fans want to pick up. Film more party song. It will make me party hardy all night long. Come with it, you want to shake, come with it, you want party song, come with it, we just want the boogie woogie all year. Anyway, that's all I sing this year. One thing I hear, you got people coming out and saying, look, time to start it. You tell the song I sing for them this year, make them feel so happy. That with all their age, it still make them feel so come out and party. You say, keep on, man, I just keep on singing. I tell what them fellas done all the damn things they're saying. Just sing, just sing, just sing, just sing, don't care what they have to say. It's nice of you to understand that party people must get a play. No, this party can't done. Black man, your fans having fun. Black man, jam, another one. This party can't done, this party can't done. Your fans want to party. Jam a soca song. If you make me party hardy all night long. Come with it, your fans want to shake up. Film a soca song. We just want the boogie woogie all night long. Come with it, your fans want to shake up. Jam a party song. We just want the party hardy. Build my party, we just want to shake up all night. We just want the boogie on. Want to shake up. We just want the party hardy. If you make me body high, I've met many people trying to make confusion, trying to put Baron against me. Something for an imposter and bliss with imitation. And how I try to sound just like you. To let those people know. For 14 long years, Baron did leave and move. Years when I came on the scene. Then Baron came back in. But I don't sound like the Baron. For your information, the Baron does sound like me. So when I'm singing my tune, and you hear a sweet tune, I'm just being me. Even when I'm dressed in some fancy style of fashion, or wearing some costly jewelry, the couple of the team is talking to 4 or 5 women. They just say I try to be like you. But one thing that they don't understand, but I'm loving them and plenty action. Things that I am being for me. Yes, it makes me happy, but I don't look like the Baron. And if I should mention, Baron must be like me. So whenever you see me, looking nice and dandy, I'm just being me. I and Baron are just each other as brothers. We think that's the way that it ought to be. But through jealousy, some people just get in her right. And decide to make a controversy. Reporters and all trying to be through. And the question is, what more goes on? Feelings of what mine's on. They just see that it's in the one. But I don't have to like Baron for their information. Baron don't have to like me. So whenever I'm wearing, it's a flower of loving. I'm just being